Hey everybody, welcome to the Wolfe Pit. Hey, today we're going to do a sliced barbecue pork loin. One thing before we go any further, I wanted to point out here, let me see if I can get this label off of here. You got to be very coherent when you're buying your pork. You know, a lot of people don't know this. If the pork says self-basting or tender and juicy, something like that, that you need to really consider what you're buying. You're probably not buying what you think you are. So go to the nutrition facts, and I hope this is clear here. Let's see. Look at the sodium on this. Let me see if I can set this down and zoom it in. I'm not sure if you're able to see this, but the sodium right here, it says 60 milligrams of sodium, which that means this meat is natural. There's nothing added to it. There's nothing that's going to self-baste it. There's no additional water. There's no nitrates put in it, and this is going to taste like pork when you cook it. There's other cuts. There's other pork loins out there, just like the one I have, made by the same company that made this one, or produced it, or process this one, I guess is what I'm looking for, that are enhanced, and they're pumped full of salt and liquid and broth and some nitrates, and you don't want to get those, regardless of how you're cooking them. That's just my opinion, but if you eat a piece of fresh pork versus a piece of enhanced pork, you'll immediately be able to tell the difference. Enhanced pork, the sodium content, versus this says 60, like on the enhanced pork, it can be 300 to 500 milligrams per serving, and that right there is a light that should go off in your head that, hey, this pork is not all natural. There's something else added to it. They do this with pork, and they do it with chicken, and I haven't seen any beef done yet, but that could be right around the corner. So just be leery of what you buy. If you're not sure, look at the nutrition information. If it doesn't have it, buy something else. Or if you're going to like a good butcher or something, then you're more than likely getting fresh meat versus enhanced meat. So what the enhanced meat, I hate to talk so much about this, but it's just something that really bothers me. The enhanced meat, when it's done, be a very mushy bite to the meat. It'll be salty, and to me it just tastes unnatural. And same with chicken as well as the pork. But the reason they do that, for two reasons, is they can add weight to the meat. When they inject it with water and the broth, obviously you're adding weight to the meat. So instead of getting 3 pounds of meat, you're paying for 4 pounds and getting a pound of water. And also it lets the average Joe cooker, which most people that are a lot of people out there don't really know a lot of I don't want to say it like that, but a lot of people just don't know. Injecting it also lets you overcook it to the USDA guidelines and stuff like that, and I noticed now they're starting to really lower them down a little bit. But like on poultry, it tells you to cook it to 180 degrees. Never cook your poultry to 180 degrees unless you want dry poultry. Same thing with pork. This cut of pork, you don't want to cook it past 160 degrees. 155 is optimal in my opinion for this, and then after it rests, it'll raise up to about 160 degrees. Then if we were cooking a pork tenderloin, then you can cook that to about 135 and let it rest. So anyway, enough of that. I just thought I'd add that little bit of information. Sorry if I bored you guys, but hopefully it makes you more aware of what you're buying. All right, now we're going to go ahead and cut up what we're going to cook today, and I'm going to make some little chops out of the rest of it. Anyway, I forgot to mention this. This is a whole pork loin. It weighs 7 pounds, 11 ounces. And so we're going to go ahead and cut it approximately in half right now. Okay, we got our loin cut up and our chops all cut up and wrapped away and put in the freezer. Now I'm going to go ahead and liberally coat this with some Wolfe Rub Original. This is a sweet, spicy, aromatic rub. It's got sugar, pepper, salt, a little bit of cinnamon, and some other herbs and spices in it. So we're going to liberally put this on it, or the Wolfe Rub Original on it. We're going to rub this in. So we're going to go ahead and just stick it in the refrigerator for an hour or so, and we'll see when we're getting it on the grill. All right, our pork loin's been in the refrigerator just for a little over an hour, and we're going to go ahead and light up our coals. Bottom vents on the grill are 100% open. Whoops, I'm going to light this. Going to light a small spot in the middle like you've seen me do before. And today we're smoking, so we're not going to light a whole lot. We're just going to light a small spot and let it slowly build up. And we want to cook this between 250 and 300 degrees. Don't want to get it too much higher over 300. Okay, there we go. That's about all we need to light. And now I have 4 pieces of apple wood that I'm going to throw on here in just various spots. I'm going to put the biggest one right over the fire, the way it gets the early smoke. And this way it'll all burn individually instead of all at once. You don't want your wood to burn all at once, otherwise you're not going to get the smoke you want. But you do want your smoke to burn, not to smolder. So we're going to let that sit with the lid off for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to come back and put the lid on and let it begin to cook. This is Wolfe Rub Original. I don't have an empty Wolfe Rub Original bottle, so I put it in the bold bottle. So I'm going to just put a little bit more on top of the meat. Not a whole lot. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put our meat probe in here, and we're going to stick it in the thickest part towards the middle. And to do that and give you room on the grill, you want to do it at an angle. You get it deep in there. You make sure you don't poke through the other side. And then now, if you remember what we're, remember how I did this before, I got the bottom vents 100% open, and I'm gonna put the lid on with the lid over the meat, or the vents over the meat, excuse me, and that way you'll get the convection you need. And we're gonna put our thermometer in the top, make sure it's not touching the meat. And what we're gonna do is, once the pit temperature or the grill temperature gets up to about 100, with it being a windy day today, we're going to shut our vents down to about 1/4% open, top and bottom. With the wind blowing the way it is, the temperature will continue to creep. And as you can tell, it's at 96 degrees already. The 45 is the meat temp, and now we're already up to 103. So we're going to shut the top vent down to about 1/4% open, and the same thing with the bottom one. We're going to cook this until the pork loin is at 155 degrees, and then we're going to pull it out and let it rest, and then slice it once it's cooled off sufficiently. All right, a pork loin is done. It's been about 2 hours, about 2.5 hours. It's been cooking. As you can tell, it's got a nice color to it, and it's at 155 right now. What we're going to do is go inside, and we're going to take it off and go inside and tin it with foil and let it rest for a little bit. Okay, there's our pork loin after it's rested in the foil for about an hour, and actually for about an hour and a half. And we're going to go ahead and let it cool down before we take it out of the foil, and then we're going to slice it up, and we'll be right back. All right, here we go with our cooled off pork loin, and we're going to go ahead and slice it up now. And we're going to slice this as thin as we can. It doesn't have to be paper thin, but just, thin. All right, there we go. We got all our pork loin sliced up, and we're just going to show you guys how tender this stuff is. I mean, this is, well, I slice it pretty thin, and I mean, the taste is incredible. I'm going to go ahead and eat this piece. Yeah. Let's show you a different piece here, if we can find any that's not really falling apart here, but, I mean, look. I mean, it's like butter. So we're going to go ahead and build a sandwich and get our sides together, and we'll be back. All right. Let's see what's fucking macaroni and cheese on there. Who can see that? All right, there we go. We got our pork loin sandwich done. Nice big layers of pork loin, coleslaw, and macaroni, homemade macaroni, and homemade coleslaw. And we're gonna go ahead and add in some Reverend Marvin's gourmet barbecue sauce. This is a sauce out of Florence, South Carolina, made by Woody Lynch and his father, Reverend Marvin. Mustard vinegar based sauce, which is excellent on any type of barbecue. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and give this a bite in front of you guys real quick. Nice tender fresh Kaiser roll. Warm sliced pork. Look at that sandwich. That's a sandwich there. I didn't put slaw on it tonight just because I wanted so much meat on it. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and take a bite on it.